Hello, welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist. We'll be joined with Hubcap soon, and we are going to work on the tree. I did some work yesterday darkening up this area. It's going to be probably hard to tell. I keep losing my mouse because I wanted to make sure everybody can hear. There we go. Alrighty. So, and if you haven't cleaned your tips lately, you might want to check them. So with the tree, hey Wanda, with the tree, if we look, it's a 3D object, it's a cylinder. The edge is going to be the brightest because this is where our sunlight is coming through. This side will be the darkest because as it goes around and then starts moving away, it gets darker and darker because there's not the light hitting it. And of course, because it's a tree, we have the indents and the cut into the bark and what have you. So those also have this same concept. So I'm heating up the 18 small at 2.5, and I'm going to bring the camera down and in. When hubby and the doggies are coming in, I will make sure to mute so that it doesn't blow your ears out. And let's see here, what part of the tree? I need to start darkening in this area up here, so I think we'll just focus there. That way I don't have to keep moving the camera around. So we'll get this angled. There we go. So hopefully that's angled enough. Based on the color of my screen, I'm going to pop down the saturation a little bit because it's a little too orangey compared to what it is in real life. There we go. And we will get started. Alright. I've got my reference on my phone so that I have something that's easier for me to see. When you see my hand pause, I'm looking at my reference. I have a little test board right here, just real quick, because a lot of this area hasn't been burned still. So I'm going to just quickly test the tip, and I'm going to touch down in an area where I have already burned. Now, where areas are kind of raised because it indents and comes out, it's not a perfect cylinder. Hey Michelle, we're going to have light areas like right here, and areas that are indented or curving in. As they curve in, they're going to get darker. So I'm going to touch down, pull some heat from my tip, and with the bark it's much easier to move up and down with the grain because it's going with the bark. So in order to make it look 3D, we need to have those lights really pop out. Because I haven't been staring at the tree, I'm going to have to look down at my reference more often. Let's see here, let's move you a little bit. There we go. Touch down in a darker area just to pull the heat. Try to make some longer strokes because this is bark, so it is a bit longer. Like right here we have a raised area. It's almost like the tree is frowning at us a little bit. So underneath, oops. Luckily with tree bark, if I get a little blob, it won't matter. In fact, I can go ahead, I'm going to pop down to 2 just because this area hasn't been burned. There we go. Get right up in there, make sure it looks curved because it is curved. My tip is going to be the hottest part of the pen, so I have to keep that in mind. And we've got little bit of bark that curves like this. I'm not going to make it perfectly aligned, but I need some of these to give us our turn. And then up here above, see right here I haven't put it in yet. This is a darker area up here. So I'm going to touch down, pull some heat. I'm going to shade this in. Right now I'm just blocking it in. So I'm using the top half of the tip flat and just kind of scrumbling over it. I'm just blocking it in real quick so I know what's what where. It may not be exact to the reference, and that's okay. Nobody's going to be looking at the reference at the same time they're looking at the piece, so it doesn't need to be perfect. But for tree bark, you do need to have shadows occurring, or it won't read as it'll be flat. We're trying to keep it from being flat looking. So we have some dark right up against this edge. So I'll put that in real quick. I need to adjust my glasses so I can see better. Oh, there we are. And get some of this in here. Just putting in this little bit of dark here and there. It looks more 3D because we have the light on this side, but actually, and I'll actually probably lower because the light is not right up on this edge. We got some V bark. I am going to go ahead and lower to 1.5 because none of this area has been burned. So when it first gets any kind of heat, it's going to be darker. And since I know this, instead of causing myself more frustration, I'm just going to lower it. So we got some bark that goes this way. Some are different lengths and how close they are to each other. This isn't super bright. It's actually more bright right here. And hopefully, I know it might be hard to see. Let me see if I can zoom in our reference. Hey, Burl! Zoom in our reference that way. Why is my... There we go. For whatever reason, my mouse is just being a bit of a pain today. Not sure why. Trying to zoom this in for you guys. Just so it's easier to see. I have a cordless mouse and I never have a problem with it. I wonder if it needs a new... Oh, come on, don't stick us here. Let me try it on my counter. There we go. I don't think I have a reference uploaded. There we go. Hopefully that helps. So, that's the area we're working in. So, this light area, since I can't stick my finger over the photo, is where we're working at right now. So look for the smile with the light area underneath, and that's where we are at. Yeah, it's probably new batteries. I haven't switched out the batteries, I think, in 5 or 6 years. It's been a long time. Alright, pull some heat. Bumped it down to 1.5 because it's just burning darker. Because this is all raw wood right here. Do a bit of curve there. And luckily we don't have to worry about blobs because bark has blobs. So it'll just add to the texture, which allows us to kind of relax. And when we relax, you'll actually see an improvement in your burning. Now this part right here we actually made up because remember I had a blob happen. No, I had the indent happen right here. So this part is actually made up. It's not on the reference. So I need to just kind of repeat what I've done in other areas to bring it together. And it'll work. And I'm just kind of staying in this area, trying to block in some stuff. The wood's nice and smooth right here. So I just need to put in some darks. Let's see here. We got a longer piece right here. And I don't want a straight line here. So I'm gonna kind of skip around, bring it a little closer to this area that I made up. In order to bring it together. Going to darken real quick. And I think what I'll also do is leave some lighter areas so it almost looks like the bark's coming up, even though that's not exactly what's going on here. This is an indent right here, and this is where it starts getting darker. And what we don't burn is just as important as what we do burn. That may be a little hard to fathom because you would think if it's burned then that's important. But what we don't burn is just as important. Let me shade this in. Bring this in. I'm going to leave some areas that I don't want highlighted. And then we have a little bit of highlight that touches here because it's coming back. And this is probably the biggest example of what I mean about following your shadows and putting them in. And since I burned this, now I need to actually darken this shadow to get my turn to look right. And I'm at the top half of my tip. Thicken some areas, keep some other areas thinner. Get a bit of a curve here because there is a curve in this. And I can always go back and up my heat. But since right now I'm just blocking in and laying down where things go. I don't have to worry about that. Alright. There we go. Now I'm straight up and down. Then my board will quit moving. Make sure that anywhere lines are going across, that they go up, end up or down. That way they read right. Make this a little thicker in places. But I need the highlight above it. And there is in some areas a little bit of highlight below it. So I need those. It's actually kind of a very similar concept to doing lips. And since that looks like a lip, that works for us. See, as I bring in and keep that bright, actually did the opposite here. This should have been a bright going up, but I inadvertently shaded it. So we'll put a bright, we will have the bright be here. And that's an artistic change. I don't want to sit there and spend the time trying to sand it if I don't need to. So I can make that kind of choice. Or I could sand, but I don't think I need to. We need a couple more of these lines going across the bark. And then it comes down. We got some more brighter lines underneath that are not straight across. Oops. We'll do that. And I'm just kind of skipping across. And we turn here so it gets darker. Use the grain. We've got it. We might as well use it. And because I'm flat and I'm not removing the pen, it burns lighter. Let's see here. We need, and I haven't stared at the reference in this part here, so I know it less. That's why I keep having to stop and look. Let's bring this up. Why not? So because I've burned in this area now, my speed and oh, sounds like they're coming. As soon as they come in, I'm going to mute, but my hand will stay on the board. I haven't gone anywhere. Actually, maybe he's getting something to drink because I thought they were right there. Alright. So now we're getting the feeling of turning. Where this is lighter, I do have a dark, so I'm going to go up on my edge. Try not to connect the lines. Put them in, because any connected lines will stand out more. So, oh, there they are. Let's get my mouse back. Come on, mouse. Acting right. Alrighty. See, we're still here. And we're joined with hubby.
Okay.
And fur babies. Right now I'm just kind of tapping because there is some texture in the tree that's kind of showing through right here. So I'm just tapping. I need to break some of this up because now and change some of the direction of the tapping. Drag down with the top half of my tip to darken some areas. What you guys are seeing on screen is brighter than what's going on in here. Just looking for You can even go back and put these lines in later. You don't necessarily have to come in right now.
Okay, so we got Wanda, Michelle, Burrow, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently audio went down for a little bit. Oh, that's because you...
Because I muted. Burl missed the announcement about me muting until you guys got situated.
Because when me and the dogs come in, we make a lot of noise. And for people listening on headphones, we don't want it.
I don't want to blow anybody's ears out, so it's just easier to...
This is not a Toasties?
This is public.
Huh. Looks like only Toasties are here, though.
Yeah. Alright, just trying to get this in. It's just a matter of going back and forth, deciding what information is the most important for you to put in. See that right here? Because we're turning, you need to make sure the curve goes down. And that helps illustrate what we're trying to get across.
Oh, that bark looks really good. Looks real.
Well, because I'm feeling it's a mess right now.
No, it looks real. I think you're too close to it.
Well, I just backed out.
No, I mean...
I know what you
metaphorically speaking, you are too close to it.
I know.
It looks really good.
Let's see here. This one goes lightly down. Not connecting it because I don't want it to...
Burl said her audio cut out halfway through the announcement.
Huh.
That's weird.
Let's see here. We got darker here, so I can actually go up and down and back and forth and just let the pen and the grain work together. Like I said, we have wood right here. We might as well use it. Let's see here. So this is too light. I mean, it is a light area, but it's too light. It's not a highlighted area. So I can just tint it real quick. And as I darken the areas around it, it will push back. Because this isn't one of the brighter ones. It's there. See, and every time I add a little bit more dark, it lightens up again. Let's see here. We do have a bit of shadow that goes in this direction. So I'll just quickly block it in. Like this comes down.
My goodness.
And goes up. And once I kind of block it in like this, I am going to have to up the heat just a little bit. Get the shadow down. And bump up 2. I would say if you don't have a pen tip like this, that you can do similar texture with a larger ball tip, or, sorry I had to readjust glasses, or a spoon shader. See, we're darkening this. Falling in the shadows. It goes under the fur. And this is a darker shadow here. That's why I'm kind of staying here for a moment. Bringing it down. But not lifting my pen. Just because it's easier to control the heat if I stay touching down. I can jump over very quickly to another area. Still touching. Down. And I can bring it over. This side is going to be darker than the other side because our tree is starting to turn. And so we have a little bit of light here. It is darker in here. I'm not being exact. I'm just getting it in. It's darker above this ridge right here. And I'll move the camera so you can see it head on. No, we're not talking right now. Drag it up. Ooh, sorry, I had to give my shoulder a break for a minute. This comes down. This is much darker.
Spence is here.
Hey, Spence! Bring it down, kind of curve. See, anywhere that it turns, it's going to be darker. So we know our, here we go. We know that this right here is a shadow area. See, and as I darken it, we start seeing a ridge. We want that ridge. And that gives us the feeling of it turning. And then I'll have to go back in and darken up. I can get on the edge of my pen and just kind of put some of the lines here and there. Or up on the tip.
I guess it's sunny where Burl is. It's very gray where Spitz is, though.
Huh. They're about an hour apart. Hour or so. Alright, so yeah, it's much brighter on your guys' screen. So let's see if I can get this adjusted real quick so we can look straight on. Yeah, it's really dark on your guys' screen. Or bright.
Yeah.
Compared to what... Let's see here.
Just letting you know that Roxy is right behind you.
Okay, I'm fighting with my mouse. Alright, I turned it off, turned it on. Come on, there we go. Come on. I gotta lean over here. There we go. Not quite as bright. Down this saturation a little bit. Oh, that's why. Ah! So now I need to dial it up. Not sure why my settings have been messed with.
Look at me.
Oh, I know. I'm going to turn this up and then do that. Because right now, the saturation's really off. I had all this set up. Yeah, my battery's got to be dying.
Battery?
In my mouse.
Oh. Is that a new mouse?
No, you've got the new mouse.
Oh.
I like my wireless mouse.
Okay.
Alright, so let's get back to burning. Not me. Just know that it's orangier on your camera than it actually is in person.
It doesn't look too orangey.
Alright, let's get back to it.
Kathy's here.
Hey, Kathy. Been a while.
It's been a while.
Wood. Get that rig in there. It's darken this whole area. And it's a matter of going back and forth and adjusting. And you can decide how many cracks or pits that you want to have showing. Right here is a bit of an indent, so we'll go flat with
Carmen's here.
Hey, Carmen, with an oval stroke and just kind of.
You missed burning, Carmen. That's what you missed.
Alright. Let's put some of this lip in here.
To be fair, you just asked that, Burl. Just now.
What?
She asked if Carmen got her Optima.
Oh.
Yes, Burl. I am paying attention to chat. She hasn't asked yet, but
I shouldn't have gotten there yet. Alright. Let's break this leg off here.
hey,
What?
sounds painful.
Well, because I had brought the line down, I think a little too much, but again, I made up this area, so I need to incorporate it. Looking at it as a whole, you're not going to see it, but we got a line that comes across here.
Burl says, well, she had perfect timing.
Mm. Alright, so I feel this is a little too patterny, so I'm gonna straighten some of this out, bring in some darks down, kind of turn it in.
That's because we're not on camera, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. She says, I noticed we can't see you in the background scrolling on Instagram. That's because my phone isn't even in here, Burl. And I wouldn't be scrolling on Instagram anyway because I am a professional assistant. I only use my phone for administrative assistant duties. Hey.
You know Burl don't buy
hey,
that.
Hey, be cool.
No, Burl doesn't buy that. He knows better.
Anyway, my phone's not in here right now.
Alright. Now you'll see dots in bark, and you can put it in, or you can leave it out. That is totally up to you.
Burl says, nice, a lot of cleaning in your future. What is it? Is that for me or for you?
Oh, probably for me.
She says, professional. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
Alright, so I brought it to the edge that's brighter. What I'm going to do real quick, because it's probably getting harder to see the edge, is I'm actually going to darken the background. In some areas.
Spend suspense. Says, did Val ban you from having your phone in there?
No.
Val, you know what? I'm my own man. I do whatever I want whenever Val tells me to. No, I didn't forget it in the kitchen. I intentionally left it in the bedroom because
It's probably charging.
I don't have pockets.
It's probably charging.
I had more than I could carry in my hands, and I don't really use it in here anymore. I'm not on Instagram really all that much anymore.
Alright. So hopefully you see the tree come out more because I darkened this line of the background. This part of the background needed to go darker anyway. So, in going back and forth, and this needs to be a smooth burn, which is why I'm flat and trying to move with the grain.
The cleaning was, she was talking to Carmen.
Oh.
A lot of cleaning in your future. She said she got her leather strop before her Optima. Carmen says, Burl, I need to figure this thing out. Burl says, too busy playing your game? No, I'm doing my job.
There we go. So hopefully the tree popped out more for you. And I'll have to put some more darks here and there and throughout here.
Wait, what tree? Show me the tree.
Right here. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I make jokes. I can see the tree very silly. It looks very cool.
I'm going to darken a little bit here, even though it's lighter in the reference photo. There we go. Now I'm just moving quickly. I'm flat. If it picks up some of the grain because I'm flat and going across it, great. Makes things easier for me. But our turn line, our shadow line is right here. And then it turns up a little bit. Any lines going in this direction need to be more diagonal, not straight across like these here. They need to be going at a diagonal because they're turning around the tree. They're moving away from us, and that's how they look in the reference. Let's see here.
Burl is asking us if we are ever going to go back to our coffee shop lives.
Coffee shop lives.
I think, well, we never did lives from the coffee shop, did we?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I think she just means, like...
Back on camera?
No. Correct me if I'm wrong, Burl, but are you talking about
will.
our Saturdays? She will.
Sundays.
Our Sundays when we used to go hang out at the coffee shop? Carmen's asking you if you have a double-sided straw.
I do, but I do not use the sandpaper side at all. Not at all.
Is that what she's talking about with the green sharpen? I don't know what she's talking
Green
about.
sharpener. Yeah, I wouldn't use any part of sharpening on the Optima tips because they will come exactly the way you need them.
She says yes, Sundays. That's what she's talking about. Maybe in the future, but the thing is, right, is that the barista that we had that was like our regular,
she was part of the
she moved on, and since then the baristas that are there aren't great. They've had
I'm sure they're great, but
no.
Oh
no, I have coffee there because I go there on Fridays, right? And they have a high rotation of staff now, and they're once in a while I'll get somebody who knows how to make a cup of coffee, and most of the time it's not that great. It's okay. I'm not gonna like turn it back, but but it's not great. And then so I think that if we
I am a creature of habit.
if we had you know a good barista again, and I think that maybe once Val starts feeling better, maybe, but that's down the road in the future. And if you know Val, like I know Val, and I feel like you do, maybe not to the extent that I don't know, but I think you know her enough that she is laser focused on her mini projects around here. Our house is like Da Vinci's workshop.
It is not. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I feel like you do.
No, I don't.
Anyway, so she has mini projects that she's working on at any given
Oh,
time.
I guess so.
And she's focused on those things, and it's hard to get Maestro to focus on other things when she's doing these things. Recently, she's been working on
some digital
sculpting and also burning, getting the bear ready for a competition. So she's been working on these things. So is it in the future? Maybe. I don't know. But I think a lot of things have to line up for us to do that. It was a great time, and I miss doing that. But
I haven't done it in 6 years.
Really? It's been that long?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, 5 years.
Well, anyway.
Alright, let's get some of this graphite off.
The answer is, I guess we'll see. Versus, I don't know her in quite the same way. You know how focused you can get. Carmen says it's a green sharple. I don't know what a sharple is, Carmen. I'm not sure why Dennis ordered this. It must have been in the hour discussion he had with Pat.
No.
Nope,
I
it's
know
a garbage
you
truck.
It's the recycle truck. Leave it alone. It's doing its job.
Hey, it's no threat to you. Stand down. Stand down. They're doing their job. Their presence is authorized.
We have allowed it. Alright, there we go.
Hey.
I had to pull some of the graphite off so that I can decide where I want to adjust, because a little burning over the graphite, it can alter your burning slightly because you can see through it. So in pulling the graphite, it's easier to tell what's going on. I think I need to make this thinner line, thinner shadow.
Burrow asks, how's the ranch Dorito chip guy? I'm not sure how he is doing. He's very involved in his own stuff back in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I don't believe he's gonna. I don't believe he's visiting. I'm not sure what he's up to.
Alright. Now this needs to start lightening up as it comes this way. So the darkest part's in here. And then it lightens up as it comes out. And then as it turns, it darkens up again. See, even this is too bright. But for now, you know what is good. I need to not get focused on that. Because as I adjust back and forth, things will change. So I need to just continue to get some stuff laid down.
Carmen wants to know if you added some white to the bear.
No. Well, no. I think I did it up at top just so I knew what was what where. But by this point, it's been erased.
I don't think in the area that you're working, right?
No. No, I just haven't finished burning this part yet.
Ah.
I worked over here yesterday, but I haven't finished. putting the fur in.
And I think as you make things darker, you get that more contrast.
Then other things look brighter.
Yep.
That haven't been burned. Alright. Let's break it up so it's not so puzzle piece looking. Pull it off a little bit. Let's put some dark down here just to separate it from here. Bring it out here. And the more we go back and forth, it will start. In fact, I went darker than what is in the photo, but that's totally okay because one, it's a tree, but two, I think artistically it's going to look better and read better. So it is better, even with a realistic piece, to adjust it the way you want it to be in the end. And if that is a little off from their photo, or even a lot off, as long as you've got shadow and contrast, you've got some really good darks in, it will still read as realistic. But the minute you hold back on those darks, yes, Carmen, thinking of you, in a loving way, it's just gonna feel like there's something missing a little bit. And I know it's so hard to go dark. Sometimes it's better to oops and get something a little dark because then it pushes you to go darker. I know darks are hard. They really are. Because you're so worried. You spent so much time and effort on a piece that the thought of going dark just, well, it can stress you out. Because you're worried you're going to mess it up. But I promise.
Carmen says, "Lol, very funny, Val."
I promise.
Very.
If you just hold the panic, just hold it and push through it, you build up those darks, you layer them, you get different kinds of darks in there. You'll be so glad you did. You will get closer to your goal. You don't have to go crazy.
Kathy says yes, they are.
They are. They're intimidating and worrisome. But the more you do it, the easier it gets to do. And then you start seeing the difference in having them, and then you're like, then it all clicks into place. But even then, on the next piece, it'll be hard to get there. Then once you do, then you're like, ugh, now I remember why Val said to do the darks.
Carmen has stopped working on her bear until the Optima comes in. She's working on a toy box right now.
Oh, okay. She must have really been having a problem with her razor tip. Alright, just going up and down.
Michelle's trying to get better at going darker.
Again, just having a scrap piece of wood and try it out on that scrap piece of wood, you know, even if it's just a little eyeball, and burn it all in. Oops. So see, I got a blob there, but it's tree bark, so I don't care. In fact, I can put a couple more blobs, and whoops, look at that, we did it on purpose. And the burning gods didn't yell at us. Yeah, try it out on a scrap piece of wood. Just take one area and just practice and go, full crazy on it. It doesn't have to be a large area, but just enough for you to see the difference, and it gets easier.
Carmen says the problem is putting it lightly.
I know. Yeah. I know, she's really frustrated. Well, that frustration will soon be gone. So I, did those extra blobs. And look at that, I just brought it together. Just gave it a little bit more of an indent right there. It's not part of my reference photo, but it just gives it more curve. You see that I was coming down here because this part, so this curves in here. So I'm just kind of doing sketching motions of where I want to put some shadows. And I'm going to raise the bark here on the edge, so in order to do that I need to put some darks along that lighter edge, and it'll start looking like it's raising up. Let's curve around here. I'm just kind of tinting the wood here. And then remember, we've got these thinner, lighter area bands that we put in. So we need to have darks up against those areas so they don't look like outlines, because I don't want them to look like outlines. And make it look like they're raised. Come across, see that just continues another one right here. But I'm not going to go all the way over with this one. So I inadvertently made one right there that I'm just going to continue with. And they work together. But as it goes in, it does need to be a little darker because the light's not hitting that area. Go. Doesn't have to be too much darker, just a little. Go over here and darken a little bit, curving it. And where this ends, I think we're going to put a shadow here to curve them in. Bring the shadow down. I don't want too many of these because then it starts looking a little too samey. And we do have an indent right here up against that highlight of this part that pops out. So put that in. And this does have some lines that cross it in areas. Don't want to make the lines perfect. And just sketch them in a little bit. And this will brighten up. So we did have a line that comes out here.
Carmen says, don't be afraid to go dark, Valarie.
Oh, I still have plenty of dark to go over here. And I have to remind myself too. I totally know it, I preach it, but it doesn't mean it's any, at times, easier for me. I know it can be hard. And I have to remind myself that I know it will make the piece look better if I go darker, so I have to make myself do it. Now, let's put an indent here. Kind of want to break this line up a little bit. Bring the indent down. Again, this isn't a part of the reference. I'm making an artistic choice in the moment. Because my eye is seeing too many samey patterns, so I'm trying to break it up. Let's put this curve in. Let's see here, tree edge is right there, so I'll hold off on that. And then we have more of that line. I'm not going to go all the way across. I can go on either side to bring it out without going completely across. And we can see how it's lightening up in areas. Let's see here. Oh, those lines are supposed to go down there. Oops. Oh well. They're there now, aren't they? I was looking at the wrong part of my pattern, my reference. Again, thankfully it's a tree, so it don't matter. It don't matter. I don't have to get upset. I don't have to add to my vortex of cuss words. All of this is in shadow. So I'm flat and I'm just going back and forth. I can leave some areas lighter. You see how it kind of pushes back areas when I burn over what was lighter in the beginning? Excuse me, sorry. So just flat, and just moving across it.
Goodness.
And it just pushes it back. When I say push it back, it just means it doesn't stand out as proudly as it did before. This is just a small highlight. And it makes it feel like everything is going together as it should. I also have to remember though, I need to pay attention when I wipe down with the denatured alcohol, because it's going to show me how much of the lighter burn I'm doing here is going to fade back into the wood. Doesn't disappear. It's just the wood and the burn are the same tonal value, so it looks like it disappeared. It's still there. That just tells me I need to burn it a little darker, because I started off lighter. I have room to adjust that. Let's see, I'll darken this side up here. And so we're starting to get the ins and outs of a curved tree, because remember, this tree is curving in this way, so we need to make sure that it reads that way.
Kathy has a question.
Mm-hmm.
She asks, when going darker, is it easier to increase your tip heat or leave it the same temperature and just slow it down?
I would start with leaving it at the same temperature and slowing down. And then if that's not doing it for you, then go ahead and slightly increase. your heat. And then kind of go back and forth doing that dance to see what works the best for you. That way you have room for adjustment, because if you just do the adjustment of your heat, then you might have it a little higher than you expected. So I would say both. Start trying it with your speed first and direction of stroke. I'm going to darken right in the middle of this. It's not on the reference photo. I'm putting an indent right here. Because why not? It's a little dance that makes it easier for you to have control. So I would say both. Oops, got a blob. Oh well. Just put another indent right there. Now we did it on purpose. Let's see here. As you do it more, you'll get comfortable with what works for you. When I'm not on camera, it tends to be adjusting my speed first. The reason it might change slightly on camera is because your time is valuable, so I'm trying to get stuff in for you guys to see quicker. But when it's just me and I got my music going and I'm just burning, I'll slow down first and then go back and forth. Let's see, let's put some curve in here. Still need to break up some of this. I think it's a little too samey, so I'm actually going to break up this line. And we'll make it thinner. Kind of angle it a little bit more. Bring it together where it's a little darker. That just feels too equal, too many times. And we'll just darken this up right here. Need to leave the middle lighter. We can darken on either side and go across. And then we'll put an indent right here. Again, this is away from the sun and indented. So it's going to be darker inside the closest part of the valley. The valley is the darkest, the peak is the lightest. As I put more in, it will lighten up.
Oh, Michelle has to go to work.
Bye, Michelle. I hope you have a great day.
Yep, have a good day. Thanks for joining us. How much longer are you going? We've been going for an hour now.
Oh, have we?
Hmm?
It doesn't feel like it.
I know.
Let's back out and see how it's looking before we make that decision. Let's see here.
I'm going to have to get up for a few minutes. And I can come back in depending on how long you're going to go.
Well, I'm not going to go too crazy long. Alright, so there's a lot going on here. And to look at the tree, it definitely all needs to go darker. Because I put the pen down, I'm touching an area, I burn dark. It needs those shadows. I'm just going to bump up to 2.5. So go do what you need to do. And I will
closing out, or are you staying going?
I'm closing out, but I want them to see.
Well, how much longer are you going?
5 minutes.
5 minutes? I just have to use the bathroom. I can
I
hold on.
figured. So what do we want to do next week? We want to do the background.
Earl says darker, Val. Darker.
Yep, it does. It needs to go darker. Yep, she's using my words on me.
Mm-hmm.
But I see it. I see that it needs to go darker.
Unrelated, Burl. It's great soap. I've almost used up all your soap. I need a link to your soap store, Burl.
Put some more darks in here because it looks a little. I did up my temperature just because I've burned in this area. So I'm just trying to get some breaking up some of these horizontal lines because although they're in the reference, I think it's a little too much.
Burl says, "Yep, I still remember doing the flying key."
Yep. Yeah, she's just gonna use it against me. I mean, she's not wrong. I just need to break this up a little bit. Put some dark in there. So the thinner dark I need to put in is just to make the valley smaller. Especially since I made it up. So, darken this up. I'm not even looking at my reference right now. I'm just going back and forth. And right now it looks like a complete mess. I'll have to come back and go do more vertical burn to bring it together. And there's areas that I haven't burned that need to be burned. But I see the mess. Even though it's off on the camera. So right here we would have some light hitting. Oops. See, I was off the board too long. But I think it totally works, so we're going to leave it. And I'm not even going to mess with it to hide it. All this needs to go darker. I think I'll actually take the 18 large to do longer strokes. But I can also use the spoon shader. I need some more darks in there. So going back and forth, adjusting, readjusting. Like this shadow where the bear is definitely needs to go darker. And because I've been burning flat, it kind of flattens it out, so I'll need to go back in and put some up and down strokes. To get the feeling of the bark back.
Kathy says, looking great.
Oh, thank you. I think it'll quit throwing me off as bad once I get more darks in on the left. Because it is kind of throwing me off right now. It's also burning a slightly different color. But I'm not going to worry about what color it's burning. It's the wood reacting to the heat. Because once I go to varnish, it'll balance itself out. and it won't have that gray tint to it. But all this shadow up against the bear does need to, on the tree itself, and cutting into the bear fur, needs to go darker, which will also lighten this fur. On working on the fur last night, I used the 18 small, the 18 extra small a little bit, but the 18 large. I mainly used the small though. But I did use the large to get some wider strokes and to darken areas quicker. I can cut into the bear fur with the same pen and temperature. But I do need to darken up. Even these areas here that are lighter are too light. Because this right here is away from the sun. And is not sticking out far enough to be hit by the sun. It is lighter. It's just not bright white. If sometimes you get thrown off and forget where your light source is coming from, you could always put a Post-it note, just stick it to, one of the corner directionals so that it's in your peripheral of the direction the light's coming in. Or put your darks in first. I'm not sure what that curve is, but I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, do we got any questions? Oh, this is a shadow. That's what that is. I just put a bright line, or dark line. This is shadow.
Spence says, thanks, awesome live, looks great. Well, have a good week, everyone.
Thank you, you too.
You too, Spence, not Fence.
You too. Hopefully we'll get snow this weekend. We haven't gotten snow this year.
Yeah, we got a light dusting.
Yeah, that wasn't snow.
I have more dandruff.
That was the clouds sneezing on us.
I generate more dandruff than we had snow.
Yeah. And we need it.
Morgan generates more dog hair than loose fur than that.
So I'll just keep going back and forth, breaking it up.
Burl is yelling no snow. Not for you, Burl. For us.
You don't have to have it. If you don't want it, you don't have to have it. Just send it to us.
Yep. Forward it. When you start receiving snow, just
I'll pay the postage
address
for it.
the snow and forward it to us. Say, no, thank you. Forward it to Valarie.
I'll pay the postage for it.
Carmen says, I missed some of the live, but I enjoyed the conversation. See you all next week.
See you next week.
Next week, Carmen. Enjoy your Optima.
Well,
if you get it.
I'm thinking it's going to be at least another week and a half before she did it. Yes, we do, Kathy.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Kathy's down in Wickenburg.
Yeah.
So she understands. So does Wanda.
Yeah, I know.
They both understand what's going on.
Carmen says, I have snow. You want some?
Yes. Yes, I do. All right.
Don't tease, Carmen.
You know, that's so mean to tease me like that. Alright, I gotta stop. I'll just keep going and going
yes,
and going.
You will.
Oh, stop it. So it needs to be all brought together. And I will not finish it to the end because I need to get the rest of the bear in, and I've been working on that.
Well, I wouldn't expect you to finish it till the end.
I mean, finish the one area until I would call it done because it's going to need adjustment. But as I put more stuff in, it will continue to look like it's bending, and that's what we want.
She's expecting it this week, the Optima.
Oh, are you? Okay. Okay.
Girl's excited.
Well, I don't know how they're... did he already ship it? I mean, he's a fast worker. He could have already shipped it. It's been a few days. Well, last Tuesday.
There, so.
Oh yeah, it was last Tuesday. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could see it being there this week. It just depends. If he's already shipped it, it just comes down to Canadian Post. So I could see it be there. I'm not overly happy with that area, but I will deal with it later. Alrighty. Oh, let me move my mouse so it'll work for me. See, my mouse. Look at that.
New batteries.
New batteries. Alright.
She says it's in the mail.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Alright, kiddos, say it with me. You're awesome. You can do this. Why? Because you're a pyro artist. Happy burning, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Did you say bye?
She did.
Good girl. Now I gotta get this turned off. Come on, mouse, work with me.